Be honest, have you ever just clicked agree on a privacy policy without even glancing at it? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, one of those seemingly harmless updates just ended up costing Meta, WhatsApp's parent company, more than $25 million. So what on earth was buried in that fine print to trigger such a massive penalty? Let's get into it.
Okay, let's just start with that number because it's a big one. $25.3 million. That's the fine that India's competition regulator slammed Meta with in late 2024. And get this, it was all because of a change to WhatsApp's terms of service. I mean, that's a staggering amount of money for just a policy update, right? So the huge question here is, why was a privacy policy update so expensive? I mean, how does a few paragraphs of text turn into a multi-million-dollar fine? Well, this wasn't some simple slip-up. Oh no. This was the grand finale of a 4-year legal war, a battle that really changes the game for our data, our privacy, and the power these huge companies have. So let's go back and see how this all kicked off. All right, Section 1, a $25 million policy update. So how did we even get here? Like I said, this wasn't some out-of-the-blue decision. It was the last chapter in a really, really long fight.
So the whole thing kicked off way back in January 2021. That's when WhatsApp rolled out its new take-it-or-leave-it privacy policy. It didn't take long for regulators to notice. By March, India's Competition Commission, or CCI, was already launching a full-blown investigation. Now, Meta didn't just roll over. They fought back hard, appealing it all the way up to India's Supreme Court. But in 2022, the court said, nope, the investigation stands. And that all led to the big finale in November 2024, that massive penalty. You're talking about a nearly 4-year saga, all over a single update.
Okay, Section 2, the take-it-or-leave-it dilemma. So what was the big deal with this policy anyway? What made it so controversial? It really all came down to what the regulators called a take-it-or-leave-it situation for users.
Now, you might be thinking, wait, haven't they updated this before? And you'd be right. This wasn't the first time WhatsApp changed its data sharing rules. Back in 2016, they did something similar. But, and this is the crucial part, they gave users a clear choice, a window to opt out of sharing data with Facebook. The 2021 policy, it was a whole different beast. That choice was completely gone. To keep using the app you love, you had to agree. There was no thanks button. It was their way or the highway. So, Section 3, data as a competitive edge. And this is where it gets really interesting. You're probably wondering, hang on, this sounds like a privacy issue. Why is a competition regulator getting involved? And that's the million-dollar question. The CCI's whole argument was that in today's digital world, your data isn't just about privacy anymore, it's about raw market power. And I mean, just look at these numbers. WhatsApp has 3 billion monthly active users. Telegram's got 1 billion, and Signal's way down there at 70 million. At that scale, WhatsApp isn't just another player in the market. For all intents and purposes, it is the market. The regulator argued this creates a powerful lock-in effect. Think about it. All your friends, your family, your work groups are on there. For most of us, just up and switching to another app isn't really a choice, is it? And this brings us to a really important legal idea called non-price competition. See, since WhatsApp is free, they can't exactly compete by offering a lower price. So they compete on other things, right? Like features, reliability, and quality of service. The CCI made this brilliant argument. They said that privacy is a key part of that quality. And by forcing everyone to accept lower privacy standards, WhatsApp was basically abusing its dominant position and degrading the quality of its own service to benefit itself. And it wasn't just a lack of choice. The policy itself was a mess. The CCI literally described it as vague, broad, and open-ended. This creates something lawyers call information asymmetry, which is a fancy way of saying the scales are totally tipped. Put it this way, WhatsApp knew exactly what data it was taking from you, but you, the user, were left completely in the dark. How can you make a real choice when you don't even know what you're agreeing to? All right, Section 4, the regulator's verdict. So after this long, drawn-out battle, what was the final word? The CCI ultimately found Meta guilty of 3 major violations. First up, they said that take-it-or-leave-it policy was coercive and totally unfair to users. You had no real say. Second, by hoarding all that user data, Meta was essentially building a giant wall, making it almost impossible for new competitors to even enter the market. And third, they were leveraging their power in the messaging world to give an unfair boost to their real cash cow, their online advertising business. But it wasn't just about the money. The CCI also laid down the law with some pretty strict orders.
They slapped a 5-year ban on Meta using WhatsApp data for advertising purposes. They mandated that Meta had to be way more transparent about what data it shares and why. And, this is the big one, they ordered Meta to give users a clear, easy-to-find opt-out option. Basically, they're forcing them to put the choice back where it belongs, in our hands.
Okay, Section 5, the data about your data. So we've talked a lot about legal battles and regulations, but what does all of this actually mean for the data that's sitting on your phone right now? Let's get specific. So this is probably the most important thing to understand in this whole story. WhatsApp will tell you, and they're right, that the content of your messages, the actual words you type, is end-to-end encrypted. They can't see your personal chats. But, and this is a huge but, what they can and do share with Meta is all your metadata. Think of it as the data about your data. And that stuff is incredibly valuable.
So what exactly is this metadata we're talking about? Well, it's a lot. It's your phone number, of course. It's your profile photo and your status updates. It's your entire contacts list, who you know. It's your IP address, which gives away your location. It's your device ID, the type of phone you have, even its battery strength. And if you've ever made a purchase through WhatsApp, yep, it includes that financial info too. It's basically a detailed digital blueprint of your entire life. And here's the real kicker. The danger isn't any single piece of that data. The real risk is how it can all be stitched together. With all that metadata, a company can build an unbelievably detailed profile of you, what you're interested in, who you talk to, where you go, maybe even your political leanings. And that profile isn't just used to sell you a new pair of shoes. It can be used to influence your opinions, your choices, and the very news and information you see every day.
But you know what? As scary as all that sounds, there's an even bigger privacy gap that most people have absolutely no idea about. And it's all about your backups.
Okay, get ready for this because this is genuinely shocking. So we know your messages are encrypted when you send them, right? They're secure in transit. But what about your chat backups to the cloud? Well, by default, they are not encrypted at all. You have to manually go and turn on encryption, and frankly, the setting is buried deep in the menu. Security experts figure that a whopping 90% of users have never done this. Just let that sink in. That means for literally billions of people, their entire chat history is just sitting there, completely exposed in the cloud.
Ultimately, a ruling like this really forces us to confront the true cost of all these free apps we use every single day. It all comes back to that classic, nagging question of our digital age. When a service is free, are you really the customer or are you the product?